Andreas Caminada, welcome to the Executive Talk. You've been here in this wonderful house for more than 15 years, and you started when you were only 26. So you were independent with 26, with all the risks that involves. That took a lot of courage, no?
No, I think when you are so young, you don't think about taking any courage. It's just the passion you follow and the dreams you follow, and then you just go without thinking too much. That's what I did, and we just started it with. Sure, we had risks, but it was not. I had nothing to lose actually. So really put in all our energy into here, and at that time we started with 2 employees, and with a lot of positive energy and with a big dream.
However, with 26, I mean, the world seems open, but I mean, there were risks involved. Were you always sure that you wanted to do that? I mean, already when you started in the kitchen, when you did your apprenticeship, did you know I'm not going to work for other people when I'm 30?
No, I just had this feeling that I want to have my own little business and my own little being my own little boss. And when you feel this, then you just have to follow it. And my mother told me at that time, hey, if you wanted to do something by yourself, you better start early. And I just had this feeling the other day that I'm so happy that I started with 26 and I don't have to start with my age now, 41, with a new project like that. So that was I think it was the right decision.
On the other hand, is there a risk as well that if you start that young, that you burn out quicker? That now that you're 41, I at least have the impression you've been around forever, but it's not been that long. But I mean, do you see yourself doing that until you're 70?
You know, when with 25, 26, you don't think about burnout and stuff like that. I didn't even know this word, I think, at that time. And for me, it was clear I want to come back in my home region. I want to do something with I can do and where I can decide by myself what to put on a plate, and that was a very strong feeling. And we said, okay, let's try it, let's do it. And I had my partner at that time, Siglinde. She had the same feelings, and we said, okay, let's do it. We want to be our own bosses, and we want to do whatever we would think it's the right thing to do. And then we started with this place here, and
Is being in that industry and being a chef, did that help as well? Because in other industries, you can hardly think that you can be independent and successful at 26. So being your own boss already, as being a chef, being cooking is your life. So I mean, that probably helped as well.
Yeah, it was not sure if it's going to be successful. It was just a feeling to say, okay, we want to create something by ourselves. We didn't know where it goes because it's a little bit far away from a big city. So we're a little bit on the countryside, and there was no restaurateur before here. So we didn't know how the region is going to work out, and we just had this strong feeling to do it, and there was no idea of having success or not. It was just we tried and let's see what happens, and so that's.
Does that mean that I mean, you're very business savvy. You are successful in what we're doing. But when you started at 26, you didn't have a business plan, for example. I guess you just
we had a business plan because we needed it, and also for us. But it was not for me. My first goal was not doing a business. My first goal was to be able to create an atmosphere and a place where the people love to come, and to have an own little refugium where the people come and feel very comfortable. And that was my first goal, and it was a long time my first goal, and still is. And it's not the money-driven thing. It's more about the passion to create something where the people feel comfortable and where the people think, okay, wow, it's mind-blowing. It's a hospitality place where you have to go and you want to go, and that was my dream. Mm-hmm. Creating something nice for somebody who appreciates it, and not the money thing. That was never my goal to make a lot of money. My goal was to create an atmosphere who is great for us and also great for the customer.
On the other hand, you are a business now, and you, even if you're not money driven, money plays a role in that as well. Do you feel that kind of hinders you sometimes, or is that almost like an obstacle that you would love to do what you do and just live your passion without having to think about how to make ends meet, for example?
No, I think that became a big important thing as well. I mean, it needs to be it has to work out at the end of the year, and at that time it also had to work out, but it was not my. Yeah, it was more about the cooking and about the creating a place, and we started with 2 employees, so we had risks at that time. It was 2 employees was a lot, and then we had 4, then we have 6, and then it just went so on. And then you also with 26, you're just free of any things around you. Just do whatever you want to, and then you also turned out I'm now 41. So I also learned to be. Yeah, you need to be a craftsman. You need to be a leader. You need to come into this position. But that also helped me here. I really made my experiences. I became somebody who takes care of his business, who tries to create new things, new businesses, and then. But that became after the years. So.
And it was all learning by doing. You didn't do any, or did you? I don't know, any marketing classes or business
nothing.
Courses?
No, I didn't do this. I'm just a chef. I'm still a chef, and I think it was from the beginning clear you have to have your costs under control. If it's the cost of the food, or if it's the cost of the employees, or the cost of everything, that was always important because yes. You start with a new business, then you have to have it control even then. But also now, it never changed something like that. But I learned a lot, and yes, and I'm also interested in that. And I think it's also like if you have a natural thing to think on an entrepreneur side, then you just have it, or you have it, or you don't have it. I think that's like cooking a little bit, or like the passion for that.
Part of that being an entrepreneur is being a boss as well. And when you say you started with 2 employees, now you have 45 in this house only. You have other restaurants and other companies where other people work as well. Did you have to learn that as well? How to lead people? How to be a boss?
Yeah, I think that was a good learning process. You know, first 2 employees, then 4, then 8, then 12. That was like the best school you can have if you do it. Yes, if you start like that, like we started, and because you learn all the time. And you have to learn more, and then you see, okay, structure. Okay, we have now 25 employees. Now we have 45. Okay, we need to change the structures. We need to build up a management team around me. So there was always a learning by doing process where you just felt, okay, now something is not good. Maybe now I have too much load on my shoulders. I have to concentrate on the kitchen. So I need to bring in good staff in a position where yes, and where I can delegate more. So. So that was a big learning process, and that's, I think it's the best school you can have.
So what kind of boss are you? Are you hard? Are you soft? How would you characterize?
I think I'm everything. I think it's all about humanity. About how
the human touch.
The human touch, of sure, that's very important, and it's all about the atmosphere. For me, I learned it also over these years. At the beginning, I was quite forced. I was very. Yes, you have a lot under pressure. So if you're under pressure, you have much more stress, and you're much more angry sometimes. And I learned it also that it doesn't make sense. If I scream in the kitchen and the waiter is coming and needs to take out this beautiful dish to the guest, and he's not smiling, he's not happy, that's not the right atmosphere I want to have in a restaurant. And then I changed myself completely as well. So it's all about the positive atmosphere. It's the guest atmosphere, but it's also the staff atmosphere. And we try really to every single person who works for me, it's also in charge to create this atmosphere of the staff. So we really try to have a very.
So you kind of share responsibility as well. Everybody is
you know,
we
say, okay, we need a position, we need an employee for this position. Then we have our how you say our goals.
Kind of benchmarks as well.
Yeah, exactly. What we expect from them, and that's their responsibility. And if we see, okay, it's not the right person for this kind of position, then that's the problem. So we need to find first the right people for the positions, and then, yes, then you give them the how you say, the responsibility for it, and then it works actually quite well like that.
It's funny when you say that, or when you talk about, you used to be someone who might have yelled in the kitchen. I mean, there is that cliche of the chef in the kitchen being kind of a general, and I don't know whether it was, whether it's not the case anymore, but being from a hotel family myself, I know these people. I mean, they were pretty scary sometimes, and the chefs in the kitchen were really the tough bosses, the tough chefs. Did you have those as well?
Yeah, I had them, but for me, it was clear I want to change this. I want to change this attitude. I want to change this, the whole atmosphere. And for me, it's important to lead and to do it in a positive way. And sure, in the kitchen and in the service and in a hotel, there is a lot of stress. So you want to make everything happen for the guests, and there is a lot of things you cannot plan in advance. So that gives a little hectic into a restaurant or into a hotel. And there is I found out, just keep calm and try to, make the positive out of it, of every challenge that comes. And that doesn't make sense to yell around. And we have a very positive culture here, and that works out quite well. But I can understand that sometimes you come into a stress situation that you, I don't know, that you don't find any way out. So people react differently. So I really have now find my peace, even since a lot of years, and that's the perfect way to manage something. And sure, you have positions with
Of course, these people that I was talking about, that they were older and they had a kind of almost a natural authority, and people were afraid of them, I guess, in the kitchen. You being still very young, very laid back. Whenever you hear someone talk about Andreas Caminada, it's he's cool and he's very likable. Does that make it more difficult sometimes that maybe your employees as well think, oh, he's just like kind of my older brother and not my boss?
No. I think it seems like that, and it is like that actually. Yeah. But we have rules and we have exactly defined things, and sometimes you need to be the boss, and sometimes you need to
realign people or
realign people.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always here when it's open. This is the main restaurant, the main hotel, and that's why I'm always present when the restaurant is open, because you need to be here. You have 45 people around you. That's how I lead. I come in, I say hello to everybody, I see, I manage, I try to help everywhere. I try to show them also, hey, I'm not the boss, and I don't just look around. I also take up the baggage for the clients. I clean up the dishes if it has to be, and really to be a leader who shows how it works as well, but also to involve the people in those kind of works as well. And sometimes you need to be forced. Sometimes if you have to tell something 4 times, 5 times, then you need to talk to these people. They need to know what I expect and what we expect from them. And if they don't bring their if they don't do their job how it has to be, then we talk to them and then we say, hey, come on, we want to have a positive atmosphere. It has to be like on the highest of the eyes, but if it doesn't work, then you need to try to bring them there where you want to have them. So
I can imagine one big difference between you and another executive, for example, is that everything has your name on it. So whatever goes wrong is not being shared with the whole team, or it's not the fault of the second person in the kitchen, but it always comes down to Andreas Caminada did something wrong. I mean, you have a lot of responsibility there and a lot of pressure as well. Does that make it more difficult as well?
No, I mean, at the end, you know that it's not possible to do something like that by myself. So there is a team behind, if it's positive or if it's negative. And sure, I have to stand there and to say, okay, sorry for whatever it happens, or also, hey, thank you for the great honors and the great Michelin stars and everything. So that's the way a leader has to stay on. But at the end, it's a team, and then you need to pick the right people for your team, and you need to treat them the way you think it's the right way, and you need to motivate them to be able to do this every day, and that's all about the team at the end.
It is about the team, and in every interview, you're very modest about this, and you say, I couldn't have done it without the team, and they're all behind this. However, it is about the name, and it is about Andreas Caminada, and you have those Michelin stars, and you have those 19 Gault Millau points. Is that kind of a difficult situation sometimes as well? That you have to be with the team. On the other hand, you can be quite quite the person in the middle. Did you ever fight with a kind of ego problems as well in that regard?
By myself?
Yes.
No, actually no, because I really try to share it and to involve our team, and they're part of it, even in decisions sometimes. I try to always be 1, 2, 3 years in advance with all my thoughts I have, and if it's about the interior, if it's about the style of cooking, if it's about the new projects we do, and then sure, somebody has to think about that. What's our strategic line, and what do we want to be, and where we want to go, and stuff like that. That's the thing I also do. But at the end, when I have something I want to do, then I involve the people from the beginning, and they're part of it, and they say, okay, I think we have to do this, like the coffee roastery we do now. We roast our own coffee. I had a little place where we said, okay, that's a perfect place for a roastery or a sauna. So I decided to do a roastery in there, and because
it's either or.
Either or, and because there was the perfect place for that, and then we decided, let's do our coffee, because we use a lot of coffee. It's a big history behind. We love to drink coffee. If we can roast it by ourselves here in Fürstenau, it just makes sense. And it also is a motivation for our employees on the front when they can talk about coffee and they know about the beans, they know about the roasting process, they know about the varieties. They learn a lot, but they can also tell a story for the guests, and that's a chain who just makes sense. And the things I need to think in advance and to feel in advance, that's something you don't think about. It's just something who comes into your stomach, goes up to your brain, and you say, okay, let's do it. And that's with every project I did was like that, actually.
However, you said once in an interview that you had your moments of kind of small panic attacks when you came into the kitchen in the morning. How did you deal with those?
Yeah, that's if you know, okay, it's full, the restaurant is full, you create a new menu and you need to bring it in. That's a kind of adrenaline which makes you, which is also positive actually.
So you need it in a way.
Yeah, sometimes I also miss it when you feel, okay, I had too much to organize things. Then I really search for these moments in the kitchen again, and that's important also for the chefs to be around, to talk to them, to come in with new inputs, to come in with new ideas and try to develop new things there as well. And then we have a test kitchen downstairs where we really develop new dishes, where we create a magazine, where we are working on new techniques and stuff like that. And that's also a place where I go and sit in with the chefs who are there and to brainstorm, to rethink, and then to develop something.
As I said before, some chefs weren't able to deal with that pressure. I mean, some of the world most renowned chefs gave back, for example, their Michelin stars. Some of them committed suicide because the pressure was so high. Do you have an understanding for these chefs? Do you look at these cases and think about yourself as well, and that there's a risk, or how do you deal with it?
No, I think in every business, or it's not only gastronomic. I think there are many bankers who kill themselves because they don't feel, I don't know which reasons, but at the end it's a personal reason. I think it's a personal sickness maybe as well. And I think I think everybody has to deal with their pressures they want to be in. And and I started with a business here with 2 employees. Now there are 45. Yes, it became bigger. Yes, I became older and I have more responsibility now. But I'm also, I'm ready for that. And you get, it's important to be surrounded by good people. And I'm not thinking that I have any thoughts about thinking like that. For me, it's a positive thing. If it's not positive anymore, then I change. If I would say tomorrow, okay, I think I have too much pressure now, I cannot handle it anymore, then I would say, okay, it's good. We need to find something else. We need to do a new project. What would you do then? I don't know. Something with gastronomy, I'm sure. And we have so many projects around. Like the foundation is something where it's really who comes from the heart. Who I thought we need to give something back to the industry, and then we created this foundation, Michelin, which is supporting young talents, chef and service talents. We're organizing stages for them, and we take care of the whole organization, the flights and the overnights, and then they can really for 6 months go in different hotels, restaurants, and grow in their positions. And that's something who can also be done. It's something who should last even when I'm not here anymore. That's something who when I'm older ones, that I say, okay, maybe something I can take care a little bit more about that.
Andreas Caminada is a brand, and you kind of created that brand in the last 15 years, and a lot of marketing specialists said he's kind of a genius in that way, because he as I said, he's very laid back. He's got that cool image. He's young. He's trendy. He's good looking. I mean, do you ever think of these things as, I am a brand, and I'm going to milk that brand as much as I can in a way?
No, I think it has always to fit to a personal as well. It has to be something who is sustainable, something who is true. It cannot be something, you cannot build something and it just happened. It's not something I did 15 years ago. Oh, how can we create an
not a business plan in that way or so?
That was more like, how can we? Yes, we just do our jobs, and then it became how it came. We didn't know if it's going to work out here. We just started, and we didn't know if it's 5 years later what happens then, or 10 years later. It just happens like it was. That's a luck on the one side, that the people came here, that the people enjoyed that what we served, and without the customers we couldn't do any other projects. We couldn't do anything. So it's always it's not something you can put in a marketing agency and draw it up and say, okay, this is our master plan, let's go like that. Because at the end you need the customers who come, the customers who think this is good, and it takes time, and that was just a natural way how it went. And sure, after 10 years, I did 10 years only this place here, and after 10 years we had 3 stars, or even after 8 years we got 3 stars, and then after 10 years I said, okay, what's next? Am I still gonna keep this, or I was at that time I was I think 33. I said, okay, what's next? I went never out of this place and worked and cooked at another place. I always said, okay, if the people want to come here, because I don't have the time, I don't have enough staff to go out and do something. And after these 10 years, I thought, okay, shit, what's next? What's next? And then I really thought about, okay, maybe we should, we need to create our own, because I was afraid that nobody's coming anymore, because there was nothing anymore to tell. Because we said, okay, we have now 3 stars, we have Chef of the Year already twice. Okay, what's now? Nobody's gonna come anymore. There is no, maybe we're gonna die. So then I thought, okay, maybe we need to create our own stories. We need to try to come up with a magazine instead of a cookbook. Something we can, it's an archive for us, but it's also a storytelling platform for us, that we can go and visit other chefs, that we can present our projects and stuff like that. So we started with the magazine, actually, with the idea, how can we have a tool where we can say what we do, but also who gives us a little bit of pressure and who gives us stories to tell. And there was a project like that, and the other projects who came as well. It was just something to, where we followed my stomach. Stomach feelings.
But is it also for money reasons? Because some might say, and they're probably right, that with cooking what you cook, being a chef at a highest standard, you can't make that much money anymore, because you have a lot of expenses, and you have a lot of staff as well. So you have to go in different directions.
No, actually, it was not that idea to make more things because of the money, because we always were because we started with really a small team, and I always waited way too long to take more stuff, because I knew, okay, stuff is expensive. So it always had to work out, and it still works out. And all the money we do here, this is like the main restaurant. With the money we do here, end of the year we say, okay, which project I want to do with the money we earned here and with the money we do here through this little restaurant. This is actually the way it's more about ideas and passion about doing something differently, to keep myself motivated, to create stories who are not been done before, maybe to create something who makes us even more special, to make stories. It's never a money-driven idea, not on my side. My wife comes then and says, hey, but it has to make sense at the end as well. And I say, yes, at the end, yes, but at the beginning you need to create something. And then if it's good, I think that's what I have I trust in this feeling that when you create something who is great, the money will come. And if it's not great enough, it's not gonna come. So for me, it's never the idea. It's never the goal to make a lot of money out of it. For me, it's the goal to create something who fits into my ideas, and who is something who motivates me to do. That's my driver. It's still like that.
Final question. You're a businessman, yes, but you're also a family man. You spoke about your wife. You've got 2 young boys as well. Being so active and being so motivated, as you say, and being so driven by all your ideas, do you ever fear that you don't have enough time for your family and your boys?
Also that also needs to have their quality. And yes, the kids are once small, and yes, we also try to surround there to have a good environment that we can handle everything. So that's very difficult sometimes, but we just closed the restaurant for 4 months. So we were just traveling with the 2 boys for 4 months, and that was a great time. And now the big one has to go to school. So now the situation is changing again. So we decided, because we live now half an hour from here in the vineyards of the Grison, which is a beautiful place. But we also decided there to have a better setup for the future when they have to go to school. So we moved back to Fürstenau, and to just make also this setup perfectly, because at the end it's an organization thing. At the end it's the way, okay, how can we have all these projects and also the family project in a surrounding who works, and that's why we decided to move from this beautiful place to come up here, just to have a little bit more family time as well in the future when they have to go to school, and that's the next project we do. And yes, it's like you are handing a lot of balls up there, and you try to make everybody feel good and everybody feel happy. And then we try this with a big team. Yes, we have a big team here, 45 employees. We have a big team in Bad Ragaz with another 10, and St. Moritz with 18. And so you know, it has to be organized and it has to be on a good structured base, and then it's possible. Otherwise, it's not possible.
But you're obviously a man who likes juggling around a lot of balls in the air.
Yes, but sometimes you also need to rethink everything and to see, okay, what makes sense and how can we handle everything. And then, yes, we became a company, a bigger company than what it used to be, and it's not a one show anymore. It's a one-man show. It's a company thing, and you need to handle this differently. You have other structures. You have a better management team around me, and yes, that changed a lot actually, on a more professional side and then on a positive side as well.
Andreas Caminada, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.